Hey, I'm the Jake, and this is going to be my first of what I hope to be many just off-the-cuff movie reviews, or TV show reviews, or book reviews of whatever. This is my first time doing something like this, where I'm just not going to edit, I'm just going to talk. Well, I guess I did that other one with Evan, but it's much easier when you're talking with someone. Now I'm just talking to you guys who are sitting on your... Hi. So I'm going to be reviewing Tomorrowland, a movie that has not gotten many good reviews, which, come on, I would give it easily a 8 or 9 out of 10, but that's not helpful unless you know what I actually thought about the movie. So this movie, there's so much that can be spoiled. I feel like knowing anything about this movie, besides what was shown in the initial teaser trailer where she's just touching the pin and getting transported into that field, I feel like anything you know besides that is a spoiler, just because there's so many fun surprises in this movie. So, without spoiling anything, I will say, to describe this movie is, if you've ever been to Disneyland, which I hope you have, they're not lying when they say it's the happiest place on earth. If you ever, well, not just Disneyland, if you have ever been to a Disney park, and you're there, and you just have that kind of magical, wonderful feeling. You're looking around just in awe, and you're like, I'm in an actual Disney story or world or crafted Disney experience right now. And you just have that great, awesome feeling. That's what this movie is about. And that's all I'm going to say without spoiling. The rest of this review is going to be total spoilers. So if you don't want to get it spoiled, which you shouldn't, stop the video now and come back to it later after you've seen Tomorrowland. So, I'm just going to say things as they come to my head. First thing, one of the best robots I've ever seen in a movie. Athena, who is like the 12-year-old girl who ends up being a robot. The actress's name is Rafe Cassidy. I hope I'm saying that right. She hasn't really been in that much. She was amazing. She was the best character in the movie. Yeah, it was just kind of hilarious to see like a 12-year-old girl beat people up and they get hit by a car. And then have a somewhat romantic scene with George Clooney, and it wasn't really that creepy. It kind of worked. But okay, things I liked about this movie more than just that. I really liked how you didn't really know what the plot was up until the end of the movie. So basically, how this movie plays out is they don't really give you much. It's more just the main character, the girl. What's her character's name? Casey Newton, that's the character's name. She, it's just kind of her going through all these weird adventures. First, she gets the pin, and she starts seeing Tomorrowland, but she's not actually there. She's in the real world. She can just see Tomorrowland, so she's walking around, she'll bump into a wall, and she'll think she's in Tomorrowland, but she'll bump into the invisible wall, which is the wall in real life, as she's holding this pin. Does that make any sense? Or like there's a scene where she's walking around Tomorrowland and she looks down, it feels like she's going through water. She takes off the pin and oh, she walked into a lake in real life. So that's the first thing, and then she meets Athena, the robot, and explains to her that there's some big bad thing coming and Casey needs to help stop it. Then they go to and between all that she went to a comic book store, fought some robots, one of which is played by Key. I think his name is Key. Key and Peele, the two comedians. I don't know which is which. I think it was Key. He was in this movie and he was really funny, so that's a reason to go see this. But before I just start getting into total rambling, it is just a series of experiences that Casey goes through. Really funny, cool, very Disney sci-fi. And what I mean by Disney sci-fi is they don't necessarily try to apply a lot of logic or thinking to it. It's just fun sci-fi. Sci-fi that like a 10-year-old would think of. And I mean that in a good way. Just like imaginative sci-fi. She goes through all this and you still don't really know what the plot is. It's just stuff happening. And it's good, funny stuff. There's an amazing scene where a bunch of robots are attacking George Clooney's house. And it's like the most epic version of Home Alone ever. He has all these booby traps set up to defend the house. And then he shoots away in his bathtub. It was pretty awesome. So then you get to the final third. They actually finally make it to Tomorrowland by using the rocket that's hidden inside the Eiffel Tower to travel to another dimension. Yes, that actually happens. They get to Tomorrowland, and it's they get there on a cloudy day, so it's very dark. It's kind of a bit older and more messed up than what you see in the trailer of the movie or what Casey saw when she touched the pin. It's not as wonderful, and it's just kind of hasn't really decayed. It's just not the wonderful place it was, and it really has. The movie ends up having an environmentalist message, which I normally don't like that in a movie. I think it can be very in your face, but this movie I thought did it really well. Whereas I feel like most environmentalist movies kind of look at you and say, "Hey, you're messing up the world, stop it." Whereas this movie was more like, "Hey, you can make the world better, why don't you do that?" It was a much more positive and also a bit more convicting way, because the movie was calling you to action. It wasn't just saying, "Hey," it wasn't just saying, "Hey, you're messing everything up, you should stop that." It was saying, "Hey, why don't you use your full potential as humanity?" And whether or not you agree with that, I just think it was, and I still think about it, but whether or not you agree with any of that, it still was just well told, way better than in, say, the Lorax or something. But yeah, they get to Tomorrowland, and it's being ruled by, I don't know the actor's name, but he's House, that TV show. You know who I'm talking about. That doctor guy, House. That he's playing the villain, and he reminded me very much of another Brad Bird villain, Anton Ego from Ratatouille. He was kind of a similar guy to that, except he did not have the transformation that Ego had. He stayed pretty bad, but he'd lost faith. He doesn't want humanity to die. He just lost faith in it. That's by the way what the plot is. Humanity is going to kill themselves. Hence the environmentalist message. And he doesn't want humanity to die, but he's kind of lost hope that they're going to do anything to save it. So he's like, you know what? I'm just going to stay here in Tomorrowland and let them all die. And yeah, it's a message that could have been done very not well, but it was done well. I liked it. But yeah, the whole ending in Tomorrowland, it was very kind of bland. There wasn't much color. It was a lot of dialogue, as opposed to the first 2/3 of the movie. Tons of color, tons of action, tons of humor, and it was a really cool contrast. I liked it. And then I also liked how the movie the end of the movie, it didn't fully resolve the problem. How the movie ended was more, now we're going to work on resolving the problem, and I liked it. It more left it up to you, the viewer, to kind of think about it. The heroes didn't just save the day. It ended with the heroes starting to save the day, and I thought that was cool. It made it even more of a call to action to the audience. So that was what the movie was about. Things I really liked. The tone of the movie I really liked. It was just a very, very Disney movie, if that makes sense. I grew up on Disney movies. I grew up going to Disney parks. I love Disney. When I did that video a few weeks back of like top 54 animated Disney movies, I kind of realized that I don't think Disney has actually made that many incredible movies, and it's more just all the culmination of all the movies that's amazing. It's like, if you take any Disney movie, it's really good. Some of them very, very good, but there's none that are just absolutely mind-blowingly outstanding. Maybe a few exceptions, but it's the culmination of all the Disney movies together as like a brand combined with the parks. It's the whole Disney experience that's amazing. That's what I love. Not just Disney as a movie production company. Pixar is amazing. Pixar makes incredible movies, but Disney just themselves, not as much. But I am a big fan of Disney, and I feel like this movie was about that love for the Disney brand. Frank, who's George Clooney's character, him as a kid, actually goes to Disneyland in the beginning, and he rides It's a Small World, and he's wearing the pin, and while in It's a Small World, there's like computer technology recognizes the pin, and then he gets sent down this secret track of It's a Small World, and when that happened, I just had a huge grin on my face. Like, I already love Disneyland so much, and now it's just showing it has this like secret passageways to cool things. I loved it all. It was really cool. But yeah, it's getting bad ratings. I think my guess is because people expected it to be a bit more of a, I don't know how to phrase it, but like a bit more of a sci-fi that had more like thought put into it, one that you could kind of tinker around in your mind with. And it wasn't really that. It was more just it was imagination as opposed to logic. And I like both in a movie, but this one just did it well. It's not, it's not a movie to like pick apart the science not in the slightest. Not even the plot, really. It's more just fun experiences. I really liked it. I've seen it 3 times already, actually, and I'll probably see it more, because I'm one of those people who likes to watch movies over and over in the theater. I saw the Lego Movie 7 times in the theater. But yeah, definitely a thumbs up for Tomorrowland. There's probably like way more that I forgot to say, but I'm running out of it on the top of my head. Let me know in the comments if you like this style of review, and should I keep doing it. If you thought this was absolutely horrible and you hated it, I'll probably do a few more to try to get better, but if I'll probably do a few more. But if you consistently don't like it, I'll probably stop eventually. But I'm doing this. This isn't for everyone. This is more just like a thing you can put on and listen to. Doug Walker, aka the Nostalgia Critic, he does a lot of vlogs with his brother where he and his brother just talk off the cuff about a movie, and I love to listen to those, so I just thought I'd do the same thing. And you can also comment below on something you'd like me to also review. I might do a review of one of my favorite TV shows, Phineas and Ferb, which is ending tonight as of the recording of this video. I don't know if it's going to be up the same day. It might. I think it's ending, so I might do a review of that soon. I hope you like this. Ciao.